From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. A visit to Rideau Hall is on Mark Carney's schedule today, where he will ask the Governor-General, Mary Simon, to dissolve Parliament and hold a spring federal election. Now, a Liberal source with knowledge of the plan says they have circled April 28th as the day voters can cast their ballots. Carney will run in the Ottawa area riding of Nepean, which Liberal MP Chandra Arya held for the last decade. The party just recently revoked Arya's nomination, clearing the way for Carney. An Atlantic Canada mayor is calling on the provincial and federal governments to act quickly and smartly to help businesses in border cities. Trina Jones, mayor of Woodstock, New Brunswick, says if companies in these border communities don't get support soon, some of them may have to close permanently. In response to U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war on Canada, the group of mayors from border towns are also urging Ottawa to immediately reduce interprovincial trade barriers, specifically in the agricultural sector. Meantime, support for Canada's agriculture sector during a trade conflict with China is in the works. The Federal Agriculture Department says the current payment cap under Agri-Stability, that's a program that works kind of like crop insurance, will double to $6 million for the 2025 program year. Support also includes increasing the compensation rate from 80 to 90%. China has leveled 100% tariffs on canola and peas, as well as a 25% levy on pork and some seafood products, all in response to Canadian tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles, steel, and aluminum. Thousands gathered in Toronto for an Elbows Up Canada rally, protesting U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs and his threats to annex Canada as the 51st state. Former Dragon's Den co-host and a member of the Prime Minister's Council on Canada-U.S. Relations, Arlene Dickinson, says foreign and domestic forces want Canada weak and divided.
They're mistaking our quiet strength for weakness. They assume that our patience, well, that means we're not going to push back. And they think we're going to sit down just because somebody louder tells us to.
Yesterday's rally followed an Elbows Up Canada event in Ottawa that was held 2 weeks ago, and more are expected. And finally, south of the border, more gun violence. 3 people were killed and 15 others injured in an outburst of gunfire at a public park in New Mexico. We have reporter Johnny Fernandez with the latest.
Authorities say it happened at an unsanctioned car show in Las Cruces, near White Sands National Park. Saying an altercation between 2 groups escalated. Police say they found about 50 to 60 handgun caliber casings across the park. One of the victims, a 16-year-old male. Las Cruces police chief says the unsanctioned shows have become an issue.
That area has been troubled with crime.
Authorities are looking for video from the park and tips from those present on Friday night as they work to identify a suspect or suspects. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, there are 7 games on the NHL schedule today, including one in Winnipeg where the Jets will host the Buffalo Sabres. The Jets, who along with the Washington Capitals, have 100 points, and they've won 4 of their past 5 games. The Sabres, well, they have lost 2 in a row. The front-running Montreal Victoire hosts the third-place Toronto Scepters in Professional Women's Hockey League action. The Victoire led the second-place Boston Fleet by 5 points and the Scepters by 6. Yesterday, the Ottawa Charge knocked off the host New York Sirens 5-2. There are 8 games in the NBA, including one in Toronto where the Raptors host the San Antonio Spurs. The 30 and 39 Spurs are 13th in the Western Conference. They've won 2 in a row, while the 24 and 46 Raptors are 11th in the Eastern and have lost 3 straight. And finally, Canada and the U.S. will play for 3rd place in the CONCACAF Nations League men's soccer match held at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.